crees mucho, lo sé. Obvio que te digo, sé. Pero hay más en Instagram. Si tú no quieres, bebé, tengo fila hasta 3. No te necesito más. Te crees mucho, lo sé. Obvio que te digo, sé. Pero hay más en Instagram. Te crees mujer de lo que eres, pero en el mundo no que a mujeres más. Me la creía hasta ese día, que me engañaste. ¿Qué más?
Reciclaba amores y estabas tú. Te necesitaba, ya no fueron tantas flores.
Baby, I've been thinking about the things we said. Oh yeah. And maybe we'd be better off being just friends. Oh yeah. It's getting kinda obvious what you want from me. Only calling when you feel alone. You make promises, then you let them go. So if you just wanna have my body, you better go find somebody else.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to 5Fs to Love. It's the LGBTQ edition, our community, our conversation. I'm coming to you from my cottage up on Lake Michigan, Lake Michigan, Manistee. And I have my homeboys, Scotty. Where you at, boo?
Hi, Jessie. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I'm here in my beautiful kitchen in downtown Detroit.
Well, see, that's still beautiful.
Happy to be here.
Yes. Oh, how's your tooth? You okay?
Yeah, I cracked one of my crowns in half, so it's just
in case you see it, you happen to glimpse of it. We get all into conversation. It's getting fixed tomorrow.
Right. In case I disappear off the screen.
Yeah. Then we have Lonny with us, who has been working so hard. Our social media maven here. How you doing, honey?
I'm doing good, everybody. I'm coming to you guys from the beautiful and historic downtown Pontiac. So I'm happy to be here.
I love us all together like this. Thanks for technology and happy Pride, y'all.
Happy Pride. Absolutely. This is our first Pride broadcast, isn't it?
Yeah.
Feels a little different this year, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, air is so heavy about everything, right?
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, do you guys have like a big Pride plans?
It's funny because in Detroit, I mean, there was Ferndale Pride last week, which is, you're not from Detroit, it's suburban Detroit to the north. And then Detroit Pride is this weekend, so back to back.
Wow. Yeah, it's like you said, it's pretty somber. So speaking of somber, Lonny, you have some stuff you want to talk about? I know we want to start off with you, right?
Yeah, we'll start off. I really just kind of wanted to bring into focus what the conversation is regarding tonight. And, this is going to be a big one. So I'm hoping that we get a lot of participation from the audience and that you guys take an opportunity to watch, view, like, share, and subscribe. And make sure you post your questions and we'll get you guys some answers on our views on that. But just to kind of start off the discussion, so essentially Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida, known as a hyper-conservative Republican. I don't believe in the term MAGA because I don't think anything is wrong with America. But I would refer to him as hyper-conservative Republican. He's the current governor of Florida, presidential hopeful, has proposed a bill known as the, quote, "Don't Say Gay Bill," end quote, which would prohibit teachers in public schools from discussing or promoting homosexuality. Now, the proposed legislation has been criticized by basically for promoting bigotry and discrimination against members of the LGBTQ plus community. Many people do argue that such legislation promotes an atmosphere of hate and intolerance, which has the potential to harm those who do identify as LGBTQ+. And honestly, the use of political power to enforce such views stands in stark contrast with a more tolerant and open approach to discussion about sexuality, inclusivity, and diversity. So I do feel it's important always to create an environment of mutual respect where the individual rights of all people are safeguarded, regardless of their sexual orientation. It's vital that the governments, educators, and individuals alike uphold this important principle of tolerance and embrace the diversity of the LGBTQ plus community. So, just to call some attention to this, back in 2021, as of September in 2021, the Human Rights Campaign identified more than 300 bills targeting LGBTQ plus people that had been introduced across the United States. Dozens of those bills significantly targeted transgender people. These bills do seek to limit access to healthcare, restrict transgender youth participation in sports, and prevent transgendered people from obtaining accurate identifying documents, among other things. Now, fast forward to as of April 6, 2023, there are now 417 anti LGBTQ bills that have been introduced in state legislatures across the entire United States since the start of the year. It is a new record of LGBTQ plus hate. Now, while these LGBTQ issues are keeping us distracted, I can also inform you that the disparity between that is that there are 110 bills, only 110 bills awaiting legislation regarding gun control in a time where more than 230 mass shootings have occurred in the United States in the year 2023, and we're only halfway through the year. This is distressing. While legislative measures are needed to address the issue of gun violence, urgent action is required from all stakeholders to prevent the loss of innocent lives and future tragedies. We need to prioritize the safety of our communities by advocating for common sense solutions that balance our right to bear arms with responsibilities to society and keeping us all safe. So I just wanted to draw some attention to that. I honestly feel that, when with the mass shootings going on, attention is being taken away from that by focusing on LGBTQ issues. It's basically causing people to turn a blind eye towards what's going on with guns. I mean, 110 laws introduced for gun control in a mass shooting historical,
I mean, talk about disproportionate, right?
very much. So that's let's discuss obviously, but I wanted to draw some of that attention to those.
Yeah, I mean, I knew about the anti-LGBTQ and trans laws and the marriage laws and things like that, of course, but I had no idea about the disparaging levels between the gun control and that. So that's pretty incredible. I mean, Scotty, do you know anybody that has a gun, like for real?
Like personally, I
Yeah.
mean, if they do, I don't know about it.
Yeah, I mean, I know women that are huge gun like they love it. And in fact, there was a group the other day on Facebook and they said, "Hey girl, ladies, send me your pictures with your AR-15s." I mean, that's the gun that we're all that's trying to be
right. Trying to get that
outlawed
one
because of what it
Right.
does.
Right.
What the
Why?
bullet
Why?
does.
Yeah. Why do you need that as a personal?
Why do we need military grade weapons in our homes?
Right.
Like, what's wrong in your life?
I'm okay with people having a gun and owning guns responsibly, but the idea that people don't want to restrict who gets guns and whose hands they get into just blows my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that we want to spin our wheels and spend time banning drag shows,
Yeah.
and
So
people are taking guns and killing each other. I don't understand.
Killing children. I
Just
mean,
to-
God.
Yeah.
just to put some perspective on that and kind of compare. So I want to quote Wanda Sykes here because she was recently quoted and it's become a big meme on the internet. But I mean, she literally says, unless a 6-foot-tall drag queen is breaking into a library and murders 8 children by beating them to death with How to Kill a Mockingbird, we're all focusing on the wrong shit.
Yeah, it's absolutely true.
Yeah, and I don't want to take anybody's guns away. And that's what people think. They think you want.
Yeah, it's like I don't think anybody
military grade guns and put them in a safer closet.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you want one, you're willing to go through the steps in order to have responsible gun ownership, by all means have that. But I mean, not that we can't focus on more than one law at a time, but it just seems that these two go hand in hand all the time.
Right.
And I just don't understand it.
Well, let's hold those thoughts, guys. We got to take a quick commercial break. We will be right back to the 5 F's of Love, our voice, our community.
My name is Christine Burkett, the inventor of the 5 F's to Love. This is a compatibility app. It's an app that gives you an opportunity to rate words that start with the letter F in chronological order of importance to you, to help you find your one true love, your soulmate, and the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. So after you've taken the time to rate your F's in chronological order, you send a link to the person, you just met, or the person you've been dating for quite some time. Or maybe it's the person you've been married to for 30 to 40 to 50 years. And then you compare your top 5 F's to find out what things you have in common and things that you may perhaps need to work on. This is taking a simplistic perspective on how to find your one true love, your soulmate, the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. And thank you for downloading the 5 F's app.
Just turn it off.
And we're back.
Hi, welcome.
We're back.
I'm still love. I was just telling Rob how to take the stuffed grape leaves off the stove.
My dog needed water.
Yeah.
She was staring at me like, are you going to give me water or what?
Oh. My dogs do that all the time. They march and protest around my house in a full circle, and it usually means feed me or water me.
Right.
Yeah.
They won't sit down until it's done.
Yeah, well, so mine are mad at me from me getting them high last night.
I think we're going to take a look at a quick video here about a sex education bill in Washington State, I believe. Let's take a look.
All grade. That's the measure that just passed the state Senate this week. The language stresses that these are age-appropriate curriculums, but they cover topics from consent to abusive relationships. Now, Republicans think each district should decide for themselves. Democrats say universal standards will empower and protect students.
Comprehensive sexual health education is about safety, first and foremost.
The Senate has passed a bill held in limbo last year, facing strong opposition from Republicans like gubernatorial candidate Phil Fortunato, concerned about what young students will learn.
I would not read from the material that was given to my daughter in her sex education class with children in the room. So I wouldn't even do that in a room with drunken sailors.
The bill requires school districts to teach sex education classes starting in the 6th grade and age-appropriate curriculum starting in kindergarten on topics like inappropriate touching and safety. Parents can opt out of the curriculum, a concession Democrats made to Republicans last year. The sex ed curriculums also need to include information about affirmative consent. In other words, no means no is not enough of a lesson.
We think about curricula for older students. What we're thinking about are things about how to recognize and how to resist abusive and coercive behavior.
Republicans say they aren't against sex education, but they want each district to make its own decision for communities.
I think we can all agree that it is important information, critical information for our students and our children to have. But the question is, who teaches it?
If people have that question, what are they teaching our children? That information is available online.
If it becomes law, the bill would force the hand of districts like Battleground, which voted to eliminate sex education requirements last year.
I think it will happen. I think there'll be a lot of people that will leave the public school system rather than have these sort of values, which go against, on some occasions, are deeply held beliefs and morals, and they're going to say it's not worth it.
Democrats say the opposition is based in fear and promote the benefits of shining a light on a sensitive topic.
It really helps teach our children how to have those tough conversations in relationships, how to understand the concept of consent, and how to really understand our bodies. Our bodies are not taboo.
Wow.
It's a lot to unpack.
I could go on and on. I mean, I could dominate this entire conversation. So you guys, please hold me back. But first of all, the Republican older gentlemen that are opposing the sex education in class and school and things like that, they're not. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
And they haven't raised children in 2023. I mean, their kids are like our age. So where the fuck are they getting off talking about what sex education should be for children in 2023? And I mean, I personally am a firm believer that comprehensive sex education should happen in age-appropriate ways when a child is old enough to be away from home. Like when they can talk, they need to learn about it. Don't call it your cookie. Don't call it your hoo-hoo. No, it's your vagina and it's your penis. That's your anus. We need to call it properly what they are. And we have to teach them because we can't afford for our kids to be stupid. We just can't. And besides, I mean, somebody in that video said the Google, internet is widely available. And I want to, bitch, so is porn. So is Pornhub. Okay, you Google redhead and a red vagina will pop up. Get the fuck out of here.
Listen, I can tell you growing up, if that was left to my parents to just figure out on the internet, if it was today, I wouldn't have gotten it. I wouldn't have gotten
that internet access. It would have been
well, even if I did, I just feel like that's not something they were comfortable with, and they would have just ignored it. So to leave it on your own, and when you're given the option to opt out of something, they made that concession. Listen. If you're not comfortable with this, you can opt your kids out. Okay, that solves the problem for me.
I'll applaud the reaching across the aisle. But what a blind eye is being turned to in this regards would be management. So Democrats were able to make this extension to the Republicans and say, okay, we're willing to meet you halfway and say parents can opt out of these courses, and that's perfectly fine. But for the Republicans coming back and saying that they want to leave it up to the schools and the districts and whatnot, who's going to do the checks and balances to make sure that they're actually doing it properly and that these schools are opting for it? And then two, maybe one school opts out of doing this program, but should they leave options for that student to then attend another school for this course so that it's still readily available? I feel like there's not enough checks and balances in what the Republicans are promoting, and that's what they're hoping for, is to keep folks distracted from knowing that checks and balances are not visible. I will say this, though, in an era where, homosexuality has become more accepting by a lot of families out there, it is still unaccepted by a lot in the Bible Belt and other places. And so we have these issues where children are coming out as gay to their parents or what have you, and then these parents are abandoning these children. If their schools aren't teaching them and these children are still trying to go to school and finish their education, now we're leading into an era where this child is homeless, abandoned by their family, having to turn to living on the streets, and eventually they could turn to sex working, sex trafficking.
Eventually, I mean, it's more than likely that they'll turn into sex work because that's what's there.
It's a high statistic in gay culture that's what's going to happen.
And guess who the customers are? Fucking Republicans.
Yeah.
So it's definitely distressing.
Hey, Mark. Welcome.
Hi, guys.
Some attention to as well as, because we've talked a little bit about the Don't Say Gay and the drag queens reading things like that. You guys did see the news, of course, about the Tennessee judge, and he was actually a Trump appointed judge that found the laws trying to ban drag shows unconstitutional, and that was overturned in Tennessee. So that was a victory.
I mean, I saw
the Trump appointed judge. So
I saw that coming from
that person at least knowing right from wrong.
Well, humanity is not lost in Tennessee.
100%. All right, guys, we got to take another quick commercial break. We will be right back on the 5 F's of Love. Don't go away.
Get it that I'm never going back. Get it that I'm never going back. I get to it first, I got you mad. I guess that when I get to it last. Get it that I'm never going back. Get it that I'm never going back. Going up. up, going up, going up, going up, going up. Get it that I'm never going.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Loving how you wind up for me. Tonight is all on me. Mash up the place for me. Yeah, yeah. She just wanna highlight. Ooh, that body talk to me. I need a taste, baby. Loving the way you move around me. No more delay. No, you can't wait to shut it down. Won't you show me how you work it? I can't find no flaws, you perfect. Cause every time that you come around my way, I keep falling again. I keep falling again.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to 5Fs to Love. I am coming to you from Lake Michigan in northern Michigan. We have Lonnie from Pontiac, downtown Pontiac. We have Scotty from downtown Detroit. And we're waiting on Mark. I think he was back, but he was having a bit of a technical gap there. So we'll wait on him. And I know we have something coming up. Scotty, are you coming up with the question here? Because I'm not trusted.
Actually, we have another quick video we're going to watch. I believe this is on Biden signing a historic same-sex marriage bill.
Yeah, and we want to make sure that everybody's aware it doesn't include just same-sex, but it also includes interracial marriage, etc. This bill had to be broadened to include a lot of things.
Who knew that it would have to include that, right?
Yeah, to make sure that it couldn't be taken away on the next president, whomever we end up with.
Is it coming?
I know it's going to be here. Here we go.
Today's a good day. A day America takes a vital step toward equality, toward liberty and justice, not just for some, but for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yep, following Roe versus Wade.
Wow.
Yeah, that woke a lot of folks up. I never thought I would be alive to see the day Roe versus Wade would be overturned like that, and to see such a large population of women of all different shapes, sizes, creeds, and colors to lose their right to choose was a terrible thing. And so we had to literally turn around and start passing laws and locking things into legislation that can't.
Well, and a decision that was wildly unpopular. I mean, the vast majority of Americans were not happy with that decision. Which, I mean, what is
Clarence Thomas himself is married to a white woman. What the fuck?
That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, no shit.
Started on that. Oh.
But
I'm obviously going through my own separation like a normal person does. Marcus and I separating, and we both have moved on with new loved ones and whatnot. But I mean, were he and I still seriously involved? Not only were we an LGBTQ plus gay couple, I mean, we were a hillbilly shooting dream if we were in the right state. Look, an interracial gay couple, get them, get the.
I'm telling you. I mean, it's like it's funny because we're having this conversation. We're up in northern Michigan, and we were talking about going for ice cream last night. And usually, when I'm in the house, I look like this. Like I don't do makeup. I'm just like blah. My hair is. I mean, I'm wearing. I'm not dressed or whatever.
It's fabulous, regardless.
But we were just gonna go for ice cream last night, and I was just like, wait. Let me put on my white jeans, my Chanel flats, and do my whatever. And he's like, what are you doing? We're literally going for ice cream, and I was just like, you don't understand.
Yeah, you've got to give Asian persuasion.
Yeah, you don't know. I mean, you don't know how many Trump signs I passed by just going into town. There's trucks and stuff. I mean, our downtown Manistee is freaking adorable, and everybody's sweet, and everybody in our neighborhood is generally like pretty liberal, and you see rainbow flags and things like that. But every now and then I'll pass somebody while I'm out, or they just kind of do one of these. And I just don't know anymore. Back in the day, there was a time where I was completely comfortable, but these days I just don't know. I mean, yeah, I know there's one gay couple in the association, and they still call me Oriental. That Oriental gal that Robert keeps bringing up. That Oriental gal. But yeah, I just feel like we're all going backwards. I don't know.
Yeah,
What do you guys, Mark? Where are you at? What's the campground like?
Well, I actually just.
I know it's a gay campground.
Yeah,
so you don't need to tell us everything. Leave that for the off camera.
No, and you know what? Surprisingly, we are surrounded by a bunch of Trump-loving supporters, and we don't have any issues with our neighbors. They do know that we're a gay campground, and they just sometimes they're very nosy and curious on what goes on, because let me tell you, they ride the fence line pretty closely and watch what's going on.
Waiting for the day to hop the fence.
They're all very curious about what happens in the bedroom.
Honestly,
curiosity is okay. I have no problem with my conservative friends when they ask questions, when they're posing things to me. But my biggest issue is with these folks that, what goes on in my bedroom has nothing to do with what goes on in your bedroom or in your life. And I'm not impacting your life. So why are you impacting mine by voting for people who vote against me? And that's what's not okay.
Scotty, were you saying something?
I just go back to the whole, I mean, God knows I'm not a Trump supporter, but I just go back to the whole thing. Is it really necessarily Trump supporters that are so hell-bent on the LGBT community, or is it just in general the Bible thumping Republican far-right Christian, whatever you want to call it? I hate to of course there's that MAGA part that probably has some of those followers, but I don't think it's by and large inherently just necessarily because you're a Trump supporter. I agree
with you.
I think it's more far-reaching than that. I don't know. That's just how I feel about that.
I think Jesse, you and I talked about that on Charlene's radio broadcast recently. It's not that you're being a Trump supporter means you're anti-gay, because Trump would sit and say the gays love me.
Yeah,
but they're not smart enough, to be honest.
I don't think Donald Trump himself is anti-gay. I just think he speaks to some of those talking points because it works for the base.
It does. And I will say this about him. What he's good at is he's making these people that used to be uncomfortable with showing their true colors suddenly feel comfortable. And for a bunch of people that are anti-woke, they woke the hell up.
Yeah.
Because this guy said it was okay to do so. Yeah. And they came out of the woodwork. And that's how many more people had to come out of the woodwork and say, okay, Trump won. We didn't think he would. We didn't bother voting, but he won. He woke these people up, and now they're going to come out in numbers and vote for him again. So we have to come out in even more numbers. That's how many more people had to be anti-Trump to get him out of office. And it took a lot of us to push.
Yeah. He made it okay to be a white supremacist and a racist and everything else.
Yeah. I mean, Scotty, most of our friends in Florida that we used to go visit, I can't see us doing that again. Do you?
No.
I can't like. I mean,
Here's my thing. I respect everybody's opinion. You can have that opinion. I don't hate you because you have that opinion. Let's talk about it. Let's disagree, but that's where it stops. We agree to disagree.
That's the thing for me anyway. I just don't feel like my time is the most precious commodity I own. My peace and my time and my safety. And I just don't feel like at this point in my life, I have to continue go out of my way to share it with people who continue to vote for and advocate for things that are fundamentally wrong to me as a human being.
I mean, that's America to me. I mean, I you know what? You want your AR-15? I don't agree with you. You want to ban books? I don't agree with you. You think gays should be hidden? I don't agree with you. But that's okay. You don't have to agree with me either, but we can still like agree to disagree and live, harmoniously in the same world.
Yeah, right? Respect each other's space, right?
Yeah, and I feel like on the other side, and I hate to say other side because that just puts people in compartments, but I don't feel a lot of people that have those views feel that way, right? Like they don't necessarily respect your opinion and how you feel, and it's not we agree to disagree and let's get along. That's how I feel in many cases.
Yeah, depending on what we're disagreeing on, I guess.
My biggest thing is this: I have friends, I have family, I've got folks on right side and left side. But my thing is this: if you love me and you love who I am, if I'm this person that comes into a room and makes you smile, if you're happy that I'm here, you don't want to see somebody like me or somebody down the road from you that you're friends with, choose ending their life rather than having to live through these trials or things like that. I mean, how demeaning or affirming is it to somebody who is finally comfortable with coming out as gay to then be told that they can't marry? Or to then be told that they can't dress in drag or walk a certain way down the street. So my thing is this: if you want to be a conservative Republican, be one. That's fine. Mm-hmm. But when you vote for somebody who is going to vote to hurt me, that's not okay. I would rather you abstain from voting than take a stance and a chance and vote for somebody who's going to shove me back in a box and force me as an example, but force me or somebody else to consider his life even worth living if I can't live my life.
Yeah. Mark, I mean, you're going back into drag. I mean, did any of the current conversation have to do with you going back into it? We can't wait to see you, by the way.
Yeah, no, it has brought up a lot of different conversations. I'm actually excited about it, to be honest. It's something I've been thinking about doing for a while, and it's I'm excited to get back into it.
He's fabulous.
I have another seasonal at the campground that's kind of like nudging me to get myself back out there, and because I'm starting to feel better. My treatment, my health is starting to get better, and my treatments are working, and so yeah, I getting back to my old feelings and my roots and feel good. But yeah, so
you do look
phenomenal. Kenya.
You've got some great color to your skin.
Yeah, you look great.
Girl, your skin
I look like crap right now. I was just driving.
I'll have to come check out this campground you represent. I've never been to any of the campgrounds.
And Jessie missed Friends and Family weekend again this year.
I'm up here. Look at this.
Oh yeah, speaking of Friends and Family, so we actually had Friends and Family weekend this weekend, and it was nice to actually have other straight people and lesbians at our campground to show them what our campground's about. And we actually had this young gentleman kind of brought tears to our eyes. He got up and sang "It Was Raining Men" and just lived his best life, and he thanked everybody for letting him be himself and giving him a place where he can express himself.
I love that.
It's something that I'm looking forward to. I want to get together with Ruth Ellis and Affirmations and possibly do a youth gay camp night or something out at camp, because it's really not that far.
So it'd be nice to actually drag some night.
Yeah, it'd be nice to actually bring the youth out and have them come out and show them what we actually are doing out there, and
All right, guys, hold these great ideas. We got to take another quick commercial break. We'll be right back on the 5Fs to Love. our voice, our community.
Uh-oh. Double trouble.
How you doing?
Hey guys.
I told you. Welcome back to 5Fs to Love. That was Rob being
Handsome
funny.
Rob.
Handsome Rob being funny. So we're back. We're talking about some new legislation, serious topics, and watch. So there's another video coming up. Handsome Rob. That's what Christine likes to call him. She just said that. So we have a video number 3. Should same-sex education be compulsory? Absolutely. It's a fact of life. Y'all exist. We all exist. To me,
it's existed for hundreds of years.
Thousands.
Going
back to the Romans. I mean,
yeah, and I don't believe it to be any type of perversion or deviancy or anything like that. To me, my kids have known that their entire lives.
Listen, there's perversion and deviance in every community, in every
Thank you,
subset of
Scotty.
community.
Thank you. I know a
People want to
heterosexual
demonize
couple.
this community.
Yeah, I know a heterosexual couple in Birmingham, Michigan, where the woman has to suck her husband's dick every day. They've been married like over 20 years, and that's a trade for her lifestyle. In the shower every day before she drives kids to school, she's got to suck his dick. Are you fucking kidding me?
But that's really hot and okay. That's
Get the
really
fuck outta
cool,
here.
right?
That's a deviancy right there.
Yep.
I'm sorry. You know who you are. I didn't mean to.
The views and opinions expressed by Jessie are not necessarily. No, I'm just
that of the 5Fs to Love. I just said I didn't say anybody's name. I just said geographic region.
Yeah. Why don't we spend more time trying to stop human trafficking?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. And that is another form of human trafficking, right there. That's somebody being
for
subversive.
20 years. I mean, she drives a super nice car and has a Birkin. So here's a video.
Can a heart mean? What can it be a symbol of? Yeah. So in pairs with your partner, what do you notice about those families?
Quite a happy school life, but there was definitely parts of it where I felt the need to kind of hide something, a part of myself, almost like a safety precaution. I was never all about LGBT plus people. And I just know that that would have really benefited me, because I would have known that it was okay to be who I am.
They watched a young couple celebrate their love.
I don't personally believe that it should be taught. That's not something I would ever teach my child, that two people have the same sex parents. It's not true. Biologically, it's not true. It's a manipulation of adults' lifestyles. What's that got to do with people's children?
I needed these stories when I was little because I loved Disney films and fairy tales. And if I'd have seen two princes, a romantic story about them, then that would have just meant so much to me. It would have made me feel included, accepted.
I love that.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Like, for that woman to say that it's not natural, what did she say? Biologically or something? And like, at first I want to say, bitch, how the fuck do you know? I mean, gay people exist. And I personally, even if I had no knowledge of gay people in my life, even if I didn't know any of you three and I didn't love anybody in the community myself, I would still be okay for my kids to understand what's out in the world, what exists in the world, what other human beings have the rights to exist in the world. I'm not ever going to put my kids out in the world act like stupid, like they like not aware of other human beings and their rights to exist in the world.
Another perspective on that too is, you know, we license people to drive. We license people, whether, you know, obviously there's some issues there, but we license people to have guns and have firearms, but we do not license people to live. And living is you're entitled to live the full spectrum of what life has to offer. Human rights are equal rights, and equal rights are everyone's rights.
I think we should license people to procreate, because some of these damn idiots, my God, stop having kids. Jesus Christ. Like, I mean,
inbreeding is not the choice, people.
Yeah, procreating. Jesus Christ. I'm watching this TV show called Silo, where you have to petition to procreate. You have to petition the government. I mean, it's way in the future.
That was in China for a while.
Well,
you're
only allowed to have one.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
and
I think it's getting better now.
Now China's facing a very destructive future because they controlled it for so long. Their population is starting to reign mostly of senior citizens. So who's going to continue?
Yeah.
The Great Republic of China. And so now they're starting to push for reproduction again.
Yeah, and I think
population control.
And I think a lot of this in America now, as far as the whole agenda about gay culture and the LGBTQ community and procreation and drag queens, it's all a deflection on the whole thing about the white race. I'm sorry, you guys, you're all are white, and I love you all so much. Even if
Jesse, I'm not white. Oh, sweetheart.
Now,
Jesse, how many times you gotta go through this?
Yeah,
our wonderful producer Christine, she wanted to be educated about the culture. She took that into consideration when creating this channel, and she's a phenomenal advocate and a woman of color herself. But yeah, you're absolutely right on this panel. You know, I'd love to see us have some more diverse folks come on, and we will always invite them. But I get what you're saying.
What do you think? Do you think that there's a whole nother agenda in the Caucasian community that they're trying to deflect with all of this because they want to make more white babies?
I mean, I think there's a subset of that. I don't know if it's, prevalent, throughout the white community, but it's weird, right? It's just,
the way the whole abortion conversation, and then every time we start to talk about something serious that'll impact us, they just kind of keep deflecting to things that don't matter.
Right.
I mean, it's just crazy to me.
The politicking of your life is so ridiculous. right? It's just, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Mark, so next question is, are we reading it? Go ahead, Mark.
I don't see the question. There it is. Which video? Urgent. Oh my God. And it's going too fast. President signs anti-gay law that includes death policy.
In Uganda.
Uganda.
Uganda. Sorry, I missed the first part. Yeah, Uganda.
Not Biden. Uganda.
Death penalty. I mean, what?
And he signed one of the world's most draconian anti-gay laws, triggering an international backlash, threats of punishment from the U.S., and fears of other African nations following Uganda in an LGBT crackdown.
This is not where I would like to be.
This Ugandan LGBT activist flee their country, now living in exile.
You are arresting us for literally doing nothing, for simply existing. You know, where are we supposed to go? How did we become refugees in our own countries?
The new law punishes gay sex with a life sentence for the crime of promoting homosexuality 20 years. It was watered down from an earlier version that criminalized merely identifying as LGBTQ. But this version imposes even harsher penalties for what it calls aggravated homosexuality, same-sex relations involving children, people with HIV, or other vulnerable people.
When you commit aggravated homosexuality, the law says you shall be liable to suffer death.
What's happening? Across the globe, outrage. President Biden calling it shameful. The U.S. said it will directly impede American aid to Uganda, including in fighting HIV/AIDS.
The enactment of Uganda's Anti-Homosexuality Act is a tragic violation of human rights, of universal human rights.
Even Republican Senator Ted Cruz, not known as a champion of LGBT rights, calling it grotesque, an abomination, while Secretary of State Antony Blinken threatens visa bans on Ugandan officials. But in Uganda, the law's chief backer brushing off U.S. threats.
Let all of us be subjected. In fact, let all Ugandans be denied visas to America, Canada, and the European Union.
As Ugandan lawyers challenge the law in constitutional court, other African nations may follow Uganda's example. Already, 32 of Africa's 54 nations criminalize homosexuality. Those countries make up nearly half of the 67 countries globally where being gay is a crime. In Kenya, Tanzania, and Ghana, there are campaigns underway to replicate the new Ugandan law.
We are delighted to know that Uganda has been able to set the pace. It's a good thing that other countries are also taking up this issue.
Josh Letterman.
These are the gayest looking motherfuckers I've seen in my life.
Yeah, they're having sex with young boys.
Oh, yes.
And what do these companies do about men that rape women? Nothing?
Nothing.
Right.
And oh my God, I can't.
I don't know if you guys saw, I actually broke out in tears a minute ago with that woman talking about becoming a refugee in her own country. That broke my heart. That hit hard.
Oh my!
I mean, you know when Ted Cruz has a problem with it.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. I was like, whoa.
No
I
shit.
could not stand that man, but at least he said something right.
Way to go, Ted.
I mean, it's so crazy because Africa is one of the highest concentration of HIV, in the world,
and
Uganda in particular, and it just makes me sick that they put their energies to something like, death penalty, like what? But like you said, Scotty, these motherfuckers, they're the ones that are fucking little boys in the bathrooms. Like,
and
the self-hatred. It's the self-hatred.
I've got to ask you guys, and I'm curious if you know the answer to this. Just a quick question. Do you know the group in the United States that is plagued the most with HIV?
I don't know.
Is it intravenous drug users?
Well, no, but I meant either belief-wise or racial or what have you. It is actually
the Black community.
It is the African American community, And that is not just gay African American community. I'm talking African American community in general. Gay, heterosexual, bisexual, all of them.
It's the lack of education.
A
It's
lack
the
of
lack of
sexual
education,
education,
lack
and
of
then, of course,
access.
a culture, coming from a culture that, desegregation and things like that we've had to come out from. A lot of communities, flock together, but African American culture in general. So it is largely an African American community problem, but it's a problem that the gay community has taken the spearhead in fighting, because we, of course, do suffer from it, but we are the minority in it.
And you're an easy target, you see.
Mhm.
And I think that as far as heterosexual world is concerned, it's easy to pigeonhole when something like uncomfortable as HIV, it comes up to topic. We can always say, well, it's the gay boys.
Blame
and
the
it's,
gays.
yeah, it's
Mhm.
it's the gay people, or it's just the uneducated, poverty-stricken, morality defaulted Black folks in
Yeah.
the hood, right? Or
But
the
still to
privileged
this,
person.
still to this
It-
day is known as a gay disease. Like it,
which is
like
like such bullshit.
Yeah.
It's,
if people
it's-
actually if people actually did their history work about it and looked in the research where it actually came from, they would realize that it was not a gay disease.
No, it started with drug addicts and drug
Uh-huh.
users and street drugs, and bled into different communities. And the gay community was hardest hit from it.
Hey, I know a woman that
I
was
won't lie, we're not sexually discriminate, but when we're a small community, engaging in small community activities, and that small community happens to hang together,
and like I
course
said,
we're
you're
gonna
an
still.
easy target. I know a very conservative white steward woman who was a flight attendant from Grand Rapids, Michigan, who used to travel all over the globe, and she ended up contracting HIV. She's a heterosexual woman, blonde hair, blue-eyed, 120-pound, beautiful, came from a very respectable family, and her family kept that shit hidden while her mom, this is like in the late 80s and early 90s, her mom would fly her to Paris for blood treatments and things like that, and didn't want to talk about it. And I still till this day remember thinking, if people like her spoke up back then about, no, I had heterosexual sex with a guy who was heterosexual, and we were in whatever country she was in, and this was not a gay thing, and everybody was Caucasian and all of that. The more we talk about that, the more I feel like we open the door for communities like the LGBTQ community or any type of Black communities to be pigeonholed with grotesque disease like this. And
Right.
how we become educated and get closer to a cure,
Yeah.
But I mean, I have several friends, and everybody is.
There's a cure out there. It's out there, and they're talking about it all the time. It's out there. They've found the way through leukemia and bone marrow research, genetic manipulation, and so it's definitely out there. But things happening in these other countries like Uganda has been a big fear of mine. I mean, as we're watching the United States pedal backwards with its diversity laws, watching that woman sit there and cry about feeling like a refugee in her own country, sometimes I feel like that here. It scares me.
You guys, I feel like I almost live in a bubble because I've surrounded myself with people who believe the way I do, especially the last couple of years. And sometimes I forget, like, the outside world exists for you guys,
But you're the first person I would call if I needed to get into a gay street fight.
Honey, please.
Jesse and I'd be sitting there in our little convertible Volkswagen, throwing Skittles at people, saying, "Taste the rainbow, bitches."
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah.
Scotty, I think that's the gayest thing I've ever seen you do.
I know that we're
every once in a while.
I know we're coming up on time. I had a question for everybody, if it's okay. I just wanted to ask: did anybody see the Little Mermaid, the new Little Mermaid?
I saw it Saturday night.
Not yet. Lots of chatter about it.
I have to admit, I became a little emotional. Zach was making fun of me in the movie.
I cried.
He's like, "Why are you crying?" And I'm sitting there looking at these African American family next to us, and these little girls watching a Disney princess that represents them. I had my time. I saw my white Little Mermaid, and I now watching this movie and seeing the representation where they paid homage to her, but did so in such a classy way, and seeing these little girls get to see this movie and have this princess. I mean, it brought tears to my eye. I walked out of there bawling my eyes out. But you know, on the note of drag and it being Pride Month, I did some research, and Melissa McCarthy recently, you know, she's a talented actress. She played Ursula.
I love
And she
her.
came out and she said she wanted to pay homage to the original Ursula, the original voice actress who portrayed her. And you know, Ursula was designed after Divine. Divine was the drag queen that Ursula was modeled after. And Melissa McCarthy came out and said drag has been a big part of her acting career. She used to dress in drag before performing in theater and doing arts because it was a way of hiding behind a shell, but letting her explorative side come out. And she channeled Divine when she did Ursula in this movie. So I thought that was a great thing to point out, being Pride Month and with everything the drag queens are going through right now.
No, I loved it. I cried. It was just, I mean, I actually have a blanket that fits the bottom of my legs. That's like a shape like a mermaid. It's all knit. This was before all of this. And we were halfway down the street and Rob's like, do you want your mermaid blanket for the theater? Because my legs always get cold and I had shorts on. I was like, yes, I do.
That would have been cute to
Looped
see.
around and he went in the house and got it.
Oh
But
God.
like, yeah, I just, even in this small town, the theater was full of little girls, and I was, of course, the only person of color. And this was the one time that I wasn't like, is somebody gonna get me? It wasn't anything like that. It was a really beautiful experience.
I tell you what, nobody had better ever come for you, Jessie, because if anything ever happens to you, I will rain on Manistee like a Georgia thunderstorm. You have no idea.
All three of you better get
Right,
up there.
I know
Like,
where to
where's our
go.
little Blasian?
I know where to go. Just
Got
send that
your
picture.
address, believe me.
Mark's
I'll
been
come
to
up
the
there
house.
with a
Mark
crowbar in
knows
one
where
hand
it
and a
is.
baseball bat in the other and say, who's swinging?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I think we're almost up to the time. I can't believe that. This time always goes so fast, you guys. But I'm so happy that you guys are all safe. And I think of you all the time. And I just feel like we're all kind of in this very, very delicate space in our country right now, you know?
Right. But I'm
And
glad
so,
that I've got the three of you with me.
yeah. And if we had to leave a word of advice for anyone, what would you guys say? Scotty?
You know me. I'm always, don't be afraid to be who you are, as daunting as it feels. There are people out there that will always be there to support you, even if you think they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Lonnie?
I would say that, especially in Pride Month, but all year round, if you're a person coming out of the closet, dealing with identity issues, a family that doesn't want you, there is support through affirmations. There's support through the Ruth Ellis Centers. We'll find you a home. You can reach out to the 5 F's to Love, and I know that Christine will make sure that we get you in touch with somebody who can assist you. So make sure you get the assistance and know that it's out there. We're not going to let anybody hurt you or let you suffer. So if you need information, reach out to us and we'll find you resources so we can get you connected.
Mark?
My favorite saying is, if no one's told you they love you, I do.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah, my thing for everybody else, everybody who's afraid to speak up, an ally, or if you've ever dipped into the same-sex pool, you just experimented or whatever. The LGBT, the rainbow community is not there for our entertainment. It's an entire group of human beings, just like you and me. And just as much as you speak for that single mom down the street, you have to speak up for this particular community. It's not, you guys, these guys are not just here for us to just have fun on Saturday night or at bachelorette parties.
All the gays, right?
Yeah, I hate that. And I speak up.
I would want to remind everyone that Pride Month was started by a trans woman of color. And it was started at the Stonewall Inn, defending a spot that we paid for to the mafia so that we could have it, because we needed to have a safe place to be. And just remember that through this month, it was because of hardworking LGBTQ folks, seniors and alike, that stood up and finally said, no, we will not be beaten. Police or not, you will not take us down. So stand up for your rights and know what this month is about. It's not corporate. It's not anything else. We might celebrate, but that's because we earned the right to do so. This is our February 4th when we screamed Independence Day.
Yeah, it's more than a rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. So yay, I love you guys. Thank you so much for being on this with me. And thank you to Christine, our producer extraordinaire, keeping us on the straight and narrow always. And so
Live
I'm
long
gonna
and
sign
prosper.
off. Yeah, I'm gonna sign off from Lake Michigan. And you know,
Spread the love, everybody.
you guys have to come up one of these times.
I'm coming. Let's go. I'm on my way.
Bye, everyone.